Hello my friends and welcome. My name is Dennis. On this channel I mostly speak about Ukraine and current events around my country. As you probably know, I'm the airline pilot. I fly the Boeing 737 as a captain for Ukraine International Airlines. Unfortunately, I cannot fly right now because of the war. We also have one more airline in Ukraine. It is called Antonov Airlines. The main base for that airline is near to the Kiev and its Hostomel Airport. At the very beginning of the war, Russia dared to attack that place. Because of the Russians' war intervention, we lost the biggest airplane in the world, Antonov 225 Mriya, bringing devastation to Ukrainian soil. After a while, Russian troops were forced to leave the Kiev area. In this video, I'm gonna tell you a story about the battle for Hostomel Airport. Let's go. But first, we have a sponsor for today's video. And the sponsor for today's video is Atlas VPN. After my first YouTube channel Pilot Blog was hacked a few years ago, I started to put my eyes close on securing of my digital data. I tried many VPNs and decided to stop on Atlas VPN. Basically, they have what I need: fantastic coding of the military standard data encryption. Awesome speed, no matter what internet connection do I use, it has never been slowed down then I turn on the Atlas VPN. Actually, it's constantly on. I use it on my iPad, my iPhone and my laptop. And I can access that from the single account. They really have the good support of the multiple devices. I'm not the native English speaker, so then I want to study some English. I usually go to Netflix to watch the Friends series, but somehow it's not available here, so I switch the Atlas VPN on to watch my favorite series. They have fantastic dialogues, good for studying. By changing my virtual location using Atlas VPN, I may search also for the discounts on some of the services, for example, booking. For some of the countries they have huge discounts and I can choose whatever country I want. My friends, I highly recommend you to join the 3 years plan for just $199 per month and you'll have 82% of discount. That is what I got. There is no risk for you, my friends, because if somehow you won't like it, there is the option for 30 days money back guarantee. But I personally like it and I just can't imagine modern digital life without using VPN. And for me, the Atlas VPN is the best out there. My friends, the sponsorship for this video not only helps to grow my channel, but it also helps to support Ukrainian people. So Atlas VPN, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. The first war action for Hostomel Airport happened on 24th of February. It started from the cruise missile targeting the area near to civilian building. And here we are in Hostomel city, very close to Hostomel Airfield, the main hub base of Antonov Airlines. Today we're gonna go inside that airport and I wanna check out the place on my own. And it's a rare opportunity for me to check out that place and see what Russian peace can bring to the peaceful country like Ukraine. And as you can see from the buildings around me, it can bring just devastation. Guys, we have a collaboration today with operator Starsky. And let's go inside to film some of the airplanes and not only.
That's what Dennis thinks, because personally, I want to dedicate all of my time asking him a lot of questions regarding piloting Boeing 737, working in airlines and stuff like that. So I'm sorry, I will be interrupting a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Operator Starsky. Operator Starsky is great aviation enthusiast. And we both metal lovers. We love heavy metal, yeah. Hostomel is not just the airport, it's the settlement part of some of the suburban cities of Kiev. Bucha, Hostomel, Irpin, they all create the suburban settlement of the Kiev area. If you go there yourself by car, you'll hardly find the difference between those urban areas. Okay guys, we just entered to Hostomel Airport. Here are some of the buses. This is ground electrical power unit. This truck is used to supply the airplanes with a ground electrical system. So for example, to start the Antonov 26 or 24, you use this one, this big truck, to power supply it, and it starts the engines actually. This building just near to the entrance, and it was shelled. That building is used to fix some of the cars. After the cruise missile attack, Russia sent more than 25 helicopters to Hostomel Airport. Most of them were Mi-8s and K-52s. Also, there were Mi-35s and Mi-24s. Mi-8 helicopters carried Russian paratroopers from 11th Assault Brigade. K-52 are assault helicopters and were used to cover Mi-8 with paratroopers. All of those helicopters were flying from Belarusian territory. Near to Hostomel Airport there's the base for Ukrainian National Guard. You probably know operator Starsky. He's the soldier of the National Guard, and he was there at that particular base at that particular time. We have the BTR here, and it seems like it's Russian, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know probably the type?
Yeah, so this is either BTR 70 or BTR 72. It lacks its combat module, that's why I cannot tell you the exact model, but it looks like BTR 70 to me. It has Russian camouflage,
on the back. All right.
Very typical for Russian vehicles.
Unfortunately, by that time, most of the Ukrainian soldiers who got the fighting experience were moved to the eastern part of the country. So only newcomers, or you may call them rookies, stayed in Hostomel Airport under the experienced military command. Luckily, however, on that military base, soldiers got some of the weapons and even ground-to-air portable missiles, manpads. Few of the helicopters were targeted over the water storage on the north part of Kiev. Those rockets were used to shut down some of the Russian helicopters, but not only rockets, even automatic rifles like AK were used to cause damage to some of the helicopters. But most of the paratroopers successfully reached their goal. They landed on Hostomel airfield. Our National Guard fought bravely with them. However, there were lots of the paratroopers, around 300 men, and they were able to get the airfield under their control. Starsky, and you say that your base is very near to Hostomel Airport. So, was you at the first day of Russian invasion just here?
Yeah, I've been here since very morning, right before this air raid started. Our base is located just over the fence from the airport, and the story is following. So they arrived to the airport. We had a combat with Russian paratroopers and their attack aviation, their attack helicopters, attack aircrafts like Su-25 and Su-24. We have ran out of our ammo, anti-air measures, and we have to move out from the base.
Ukrainian National Guard caused the severe losses for Russian army that day and didn't sustain any kind of casualties. The National Guard left Hostomel Airport just because they were out of ammo. The car cemetery, my friends, and all of those cars belong to Antonov hub base. For example, this car you could see in Dmitry Antonov's video. It is used to deliver the crew basically from the buildings nearby offices to the airplane. So they have a special briefing room. After the briefing, they prepare for the flight and they gather to this vehicle, to this bus, to be delivered to the airfield where the airplane is waiting for them. But here you can see this vehicle is totally destroyed. And that one is used, guess for what? for de-icing, my friends. So this is de-icing track. Actually came, I think, from Canada or something. At least in some of the Ukrainian airports, civilian airports, we have those tracks exactly the same coming from Canada. This is the control, remote control for the tower. It doesn't work, as you can see, because the engine is just shut down. And you can see the shrapnel. There's the cockpit. Never been into that one. Let's go inside. So that's also control for de-icing. Yeah, quite interesting track, I would say, but totally demolished. The automatic gear, transmission, and you can see the shrapnel all around, my friends. So basically it is where the seat of the guy who is performing the de-icing using this hose, this turret, let's say. This is a Ukrainian KAMAZ, and this is the fire track that is totally demolished as well. And here are some of the buses. Oh, this is the ground heating system. It's used to heat up, warm up basically everything. If you have, let's say, if you need to increase the temperature in the cabin compartment, you can call this car. If you have, for example, icing on your propeller blades, you can also call that car. What it does, it basically throws the hot air through those hoses, and that is how you can get rid of the ice on some of the parts that are vulnerable to the anti-icing fluid. So Russia took Hostomel Airport, really. But why they decided to do so in the first hours of war? As I say to you, Hostomel Airport is really close to Kiev, around 15 kilometers or 10 miles away. Because of that, Russian military command decided to use the Hostomel runway to deliver their main forces to capture Kiev. Firstly, they delivered a small portion of the special forces that should have taken the airfield under their control. That part was more or less successful. They lost some of the helicopters, but finally they got the airfield, and after that they launched the second part of the operation. Around 18 Ilyushin-76 big transport aircraft equipped with armored vehicles and paratroopers flown from Russian territory. By the time then those airplanes were already in the air flying directly to Hostomel Airport, something happened. Something that destroyed Russian plans of taking Kiev. Basically, our artillery, together with Sukhoi Su-24 bombers, destroyed the runway of Hostomel Airport. And that is why that huge Ilyushin-76 Russian Armada just diverted to alternate airport, which is in Gomel, Belarus. And they simply left their own paratroopers, 300 men, alone in that Hostomel Airport. And what happened next? Ukrainian special forces arrived to Hostomel Airport. By the time, Russian paratroopers hadn't had the fire support from the helicopters because all of them went back to Belarus. And till the end of the day, most of them lost their lives in the fighting.
And then we conducted airstrike on the airstrip in order to destroy or damage it, because there were like 15 IL-76 airplanes coming from Rostov.
They were ready,
and they wanted to land here and deploy a full brigade like 10 kilometers away from Kiev. And that very evening, Ukrainian airborne troops arrived and killed everybody.
The next morning, Russia decided to send their forces that landed in Gomel Airport for a turn directly to Hostomel Airport, but not by air, but by ground. Russia sent lots of their armored vehicles, tanks, BMPs, BTRs. All of that came from the north part. They took Chernobyl nuclear power plant and special area on the way and finally entered Hostomel. And Ukrainian troops were forced to leave the place. Guys, this is the hangar where some of the airplanes are located, Antonov 1 to 4. And as you can see, there are some holes on the walls, and they are coming from the Russian side. And there is the hangar where the Maria is. As you know from Dmitry Antonov's video about Antonov 225, that part of the old Maria survived, even some engines. So that is why I hope we can use the part of that airplane together with the fuselage that is located in different place, and we're gonna put new avionics, new engines probably, and we're gonna make that airplane up-to-date, modern airplane that can do some of the tasks that it was not designed for. For example, carry Elon Musk rockets, who knows? This is the aviation personnel parking, and usually pilots leave their cars here, then they fly somewhere else. And yes, you see what happened to the pilots' cars, totally demolished, destroyed. How devastated and how powerful the explosion is. Just look at this, the armor just went out like a bun in an oven.
Here we can see remains of Russian hand grenade. This one is called РГН, ручная граната наступательная. And here we can see Russian vehicle that is used to carry troops, and we can see this modern nano invention made in Russian Innovative Center of Skolkovo. It's called Russian Berezka. That is used to bring the spirit of Russian world whenever they go.
And Russian battalions were reinforced by the special ultra mega super forces Kadyrovs. Those are the most furious soldiers in the world, and we call them TikTok soldiers. Why? Well, basically because there are tons of videos in internet how they show, how they pose with rifles, how they fire to the bushes, to the trees, to the rails, to everything, and they just want to show how they fight. Those posing videos they made went viral here in Ukraine. We all make fun of them. Yes, it's funny to watch those videos, my friends, but from my side, I would not underestimate our enemy, because they are soldiers and they fight for Russian peace. They are not fighting usually on the front lines, they are somewhere at the back doing some militia stuff, terrorizing civilians, and still they are killing our soldiers. My friends, this is the armored protection, let's say, of the internal police that is used to disperse crowds of protesters. So they really thought that they will accept their army in Kiev, Ukraine, that they will easily go there, and they need just the local police to fight protesters in a Kiev city. My friends, just look at that stuff. It's crazy. So they really didn't expect that we'll resist.
This piece of ceramics belongs to one of their armored vests used by Russians.
What is better, to have a single plate, single metal plate, or those many?
It depends. So, for example, if this ceramic plate is getting hit by a bullet, actually it crashes, so it receives all of the energy of the bullet and it crushes. So you have to replace that. And in case you're using a metal plate, of course it's much heavier, but it can receive a bunch of bullets and you can continue fighting.
Oh, interesting. Russia got overwhelming advantage in the area. They occupied nearby houses and later moved forward on the way to Bucha and Irpin. And not just two of those settlements, they were able to take the vast part of the territory under their control, the north and western part, Borodyanka, Makariv, Motizhin, Buzova. And I personally got some relatives and friends who suffered that invasion. Some of them lost their property, some of them lost their lives. Some of them were even imprisoned and tortured by Russians. And some of them left the place for good even before the war had started. Alright guys, we are on airfield. We cannot go today on some of the places, unfortunately, but we can film those airplanes here. This is the biggest turboprop airplane in the world, Antonov 22 Ante, that was also severely damaged by the shell, by the Russian shell. It went through to the fuselage, and now we're gonna see it. And there are also Antonov 12. Even my grandpa used to fly on Antonov 12 well before. Guys, it's very hard for me to see the airplanes in that condition. This is Antonov 28. I used to fly the same airplane at the beginning of my career, and I got some of the questions what the airplane type I would consider the best. Well, from the performance perspective, from all of those airplanes which I was flying, this one is the best, at least it used to be, because it's very light. It's around 3.5 tons, and it has very powerful engines. Each engine is 1000 horsepower, so my friends, very powerful thing. And it used to deliver some goods. It's very popular in Africa and also kind of popular for skydiving. Yeah, unfortunately this airplane is totally demolished. I found a very interesting piece, this one. It's the part of Antonov 140, which is located over there. And Russians were towing Antonov 140 to that place for, I don't know what the reason was for that. And they hit the wing of Antonov 22 with their vertical stabilizer of Antonov 140. So now we have the leading edge of this wing damaged, and just part of the stabilizer plugged into anti-ice system, let's say, because it has the anti-ice system on the forward part, but hopefully the longeron is not damaged. On the other part, my friends, we can see the hole in the landing gear fairing. As you can see, there was some kind of heat. I don't know with what, but inside you can see the hoses, mostly heating ducts from what I understood. And this is the wing. It got some of the shrapnel from I can see, but not significant. More or less it's okay. And the landing gear, of course, it's unique on that airplane. Luckily it didn't sustain the damage. This airplane is very unique, my friends. It's similar to Maria because we have just one unit of the commercial Antonov 22 in the world, and Russia used them as well, but just for their military. Antonov 12, probably it got no airworthiness certificate from what I know, and it sustained dramatic damage to the wing root. The longeron, of course, was destroyed. No go. And I wonder about this one. It got the damage to the vertical stabilizer rudder. Actually, there is no rudder and almost no vertical stabilizer. Shrapnel all around. It is not gonna fly, my friends, probably. But I still hope that we'll be able to restore Antonov 22. Just hope for that, because it has some of the damage to the fuselage, but I would say not really dramatic. For some reason, we don't know for what reason, Russia towed this plane out to the grass, really. And as you can see, it's shrapnelled all around. Antonov 72, nice bird. I like this airplane with the high mounted engines, and it was on a maintenance. From what I see, there is no shrapnel. And my friends, it's sad to see Antonov 74, very similar to Antonov 72, but better, modernized version, and completely lost. Yeah, just ruined. It has D36 engines. I consider them the best engines there that were produced in Motor Sich factory. Very reliable, very efficient. And what you see is totally demolition of the airplane. This airplane used to, oh no, my friends, this airplane probably was out of service, because you can see the paint, it's different. So this airplane, I think, was not in use by Antonov. Here we have one more Antonov 22 Ante, and here we have Ruslan. They cannot fly any longer because they do not have they're not in airworthy condition for a very long time. But even here we have some sort of the traces that went inside the landing gear fairing. And one more Antonov 22, also it doesn't have the airworthiness certificate. You can see the tail part was destroyed. Some sort of shell just hit it. and ripped it off the empennage of the airplane. Since Russian forces moved forward, they left the Hostomel Airport under Kadyrov's control, and Kadyrov decided to perform some sort of party. They put their men near to the hangar, they put their vehicles there, and they awarded and honored the soldiers who took part in capturing Hostomel Airport. Interestingly, but they put all of their armored vehicles on an open apron, and using surveillance drones, Ukrainian Army Command understood that there are many soldiers, armored vehicles and lorries at the same place. And basically our artillery fired to the place. And I want to put the stress here, my friends. It happened after the 27th of February. Then we got the confirmed information that Mriya airplane sustained dramatic damage and probably was destroyed. Mriya, Antonov 225 airplane, was destroyed during the second attack of Russian forces on Hostomel Airport. And later, our artillery just devastated the vast part of Kadyrov's forces. This guy was also eliminated, probably the first Russian general who lost his life. General Tushayev, the charismatic leader of Kadyrov's and close friend of Kadyrov himself. This is also the Russian Ural vehicle.
As well as that one, and that one, and that one.
There are many of them, and this is the hull from probably 152mm artillery shell turret.
This turret belongs to one of demilitarized Russian BMDs. It's called BMD-4. You can see its main cannon is attached with the 30mm automatic cannon, and such 30mm automatic cannons are used in Ukrainian BTR-3 and 4 as well. Yeah, its visors, its infrared visors and night vision visors, night vision equipment was bought in Europe.
I think from France or something. Yeah, you are right. Actually, it is forbidden to sell to Russia the military equipment since 2014, but still we were able to find lots of Western-made technological equipment installed on Russian military tanks, and not only, which is kind of violation of those sanctions, but somehow that equipment was delivered to Russia. Losing the great part of their forces in Hostomel Airport was severe hit for Russian army, and they decided to throw all they have to attack Kiev. They tried different tactics, they formed big columns, but finally those columns were devastated by Bayraktars and Ukrainian artillery. After that they decided to split their forces. They started to throw small groups of soldiers just into the Kiev. There was just a territorial defense from Ukrainian side. However, we were able to fight back. And yes, I may confess that then I saw the shooting inside of our capital city, I thought that Russia would take it. I thought, oh my god, we have the second army now in Kiev. Oh my god, but Zelensky was still there. And after a while we got some of the reinforcements. We started to push them from the south, from the east, and some of the forces were pushing them from the western side. And in the middle of March we start to receive some awesome news that Russian columns were devastated in Bucha and all around the Kiev settlements. This is the Mi-8 helicopter that was hit during the first hours of the Russian invasion. It landed here. It was hit with the Soviet Manpad Igla, and there were also Russian troops on board of that helicopter, but you can hardly find them there because of the severe heat. They are somewhere there, my friends, and you can see the engines. They are here. You can recognize them for sure. The swatch plate, the blades, they have this comb construction, and basically that's it, my friends. Nothing, well, some part of the airframe there, but nothing more. Basically we pushed them so hard that Russians were forced to announce the goodwill decision, and basically they left the area with the remaining forces. They also left Bucha and Irpin on their way, And after Ukrainian forces discovered the place and what Russians done to civilians, it brought just shock to the world. Russia brought genocide to Ukraine, and opinion on Russians obviously changed for Ukrainian society. After that, there are just two sides of the medal. Whether you support tyranny and terror, genocide, or you support freedom. We, people of Ukraine, support freedom and our right to be Ukrainians. We are on a way to see the K-52, well, at least the remaining of that helicopter. And here in a way I found this shell. This is the rocket artillery shell that was fired somewhere near. I don't know if it exploded or not. Hard to say. So from this rotor plate, swash plates, you can see it's a unique construction for K-52 that was also destroyed here during the first hours of the Russian invasion. This is the rudder pedal, we call it on an airplane, on helicopter probably the same. This is the gun, the main gun of K-52. I don't know what caliber they used. Well, totally demolished. Here we have control panel with some of the switches. This one and this one. Can I use them? No. Well, some of them I can. And this is the part of the front desk, the front panel. Here we have also some of the instruments. This is the altimeter, and this is the RPM, probably of the rotor or something, and some of the switches. This one looks very Boeing. You need to pull it up and switch, but I cannot do it right here. And here are some of the annunciator bulbs or lamps, signals on that panel. And here on the bottom there is also some sort of the instrument. I don't know what it used to detect, and some of the micro schemes. You can see it is China, made in China, my friends, this micro scheme. So it's a Russian top helicopter with micro schemes from China. Sadly, we lost our pride, the biggest airplane in the world, Antonov 225 Mriya. The airplane that did so much good things to our world, delivering humanitarian aids and other goods to every part of the world. Aviation enthusiasts just love that airplane. It attracted so many spotters, so many aviation lovers and fans. Now it's gone because of the Russian invasion. But in future, I'm sure we're gonna rebuild that airplane. But first, we need to rebuild our destroyed villages and cities. And before, we need to win this war, which we're gonna win for sure. We don't have the other choice. Our Western allies will help us with that. And now, my friends, before saying goodbye to you, please check out the link for the Atlas VPN, the sponsor of today's video. I use their VPN all the time. It's fantastic. And they also help me to support Ukrainian people. Thank you for sponsoring this video, Atlas VPN. My friends, I wish you a peaceful sky wherever you are. Have a great time.